this meeting in order. And first thing here to review and approve July 25th, 2023 minutes. Lights off. I mean,
Lights off for a while now, didn't we?
Bob gone. It was a long weekend.
It was a long weekend, I can tell, so you guys did a lot of work.
No, it wasn't in today.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
I approve the minutes as read.
Seconded.
All in favor? Right. Thing is to read and approve August 8th, 2023 warrant.
I move that they be accepted as presented.
Second that.
All in favor? Discuss and review proposed Cumberland County General Assistance Contract.
The contract that they presented, is very similar to the one that we had with, the other group, Opportunity Alliance, a little more expensive. I think before we negotiated Opportunity Alliance down to 58 or something like that.
Yeah.
But this one is at, what was it, 68 something a day, an hour? Not cheap.
Yeah, it was 65 for the
$65
additional
an hour.
hours and, yeah, travel time and all that.
Yeah.
A couple of notes that I took when looking over it. Says the town can designate office hours, and usually we did 8 to 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
Thursdays, so I think that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Usually the town will have, and county will have cross-trained staff to back up the social service coordinator. I guess we could keep Barry on as a backup
Mm-hmm.
if he's needed.
Yep. Yep.
And then, on the next page says, they're looking for a number to emergency on-call number. First response for emergency after-hour and weekend assistance will be as follows. They're gonna give us a number, but it needs to be added in there.
Okay.
It's a 3-year contract, starting July 1st. I think I would ask them to prorate it the first year, because we were already into, August.
Mm-hmm.
But it's automatically renewed every 3 years. Annual fee of $13,520, I did the math, it's $65 an hour for 4 hours a week. So, that's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Then if there's anything else, they'll charge it, I don't know. With those caveats, I move that we, agree to, contract with Cumberland County.
I'll second.
I had a quick question on it first. obviously the original process again, but, the Opportunity Alliance was the ones we got out of, right? And then Barry was our interim to take it over. Why are we paying so much money to give away a little bit of money? I mean, it's just, like last year, I mean, so basically, like our cost of what we actually give out to people is like this figure, and then the amount of money we pay somebody else to do it is this figure.
Yeah.
Just half of the cost of every town, or is it?
Pretty much, yeah, it's interesting, I was on a, Zoom meeting with most of the other towns that are in on this process, and some of them said that they have little or no calls for general assistance. But when you do, you've got to have somebody who's qualified, knows how to go through the process. It's been ever since I've been on the board and looked at it, it's been the way it is. Interestingly, I think in the first 2 or 3 years I was on the board, there was more of a call for general assistance. That was in 15 and 16. I think there were more cases. But I don't know if you've seen the general assistance ordinance.
It's pretty lengthy.
It's pretty lengthy, the book, you gotta know, and you gotta go through it and abide by the rules. And there's more to it now than just handing out our money. It's knowing all those other social services out there to refer people to. It's just, a lot of them don't qualify for money, but they're in need, and so you need to be able to know who they can talk to, what the organizations are, what they offer, so you need a trained person, that's why.
So what they do is they handle the paperwork and the logistics. Do we still decide as a board? So they decide how much money based on a formula?
They decide, that's what you pay them for, is to make those decisions. And, so we don't see them, it's confidential. And they're not listed anywhere in any report that we see.
So that last one we went through would be non-existent and,
well, the one we went through, I think you're talking about an abatement.
okay.
Poverty abatement.
Yeah.
We see that, but that's not available for public either. But the ones that the general assistance manager goes through, we don't review.
Right.
The person who would know would be Deb, because if there's money to be handed out or vouchers or anything, she's the one presented the information.
And the GA works with her.
GA doesn't work for her, they work for us.
With her,
Yeah.
as far as maybe using what
Yeah.
our budget to pay people.
Pay people, yeah. And, you know, we put a budget in every year for what we think general assistance is gonna cost, but we have no real way to know, or.
No, you don't, but
Yeah.
like I said, I just looked in the last 3 years back, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
we're paying 3 times more than what actually is given up.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know Brent Libby?
Yeah.
He used to come to, the town meetings and say that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as like this is say an insurance policy, if something isn't done right, it's on them, it's not on the town, so.
Yeah, well, that's what this one says.
Yeah.
We'll hold them, faultless, but you know, that's what you pay experts for, and there's a lot of, this business is much more complicated. You know, I've read some of the old, town reports from back in the 20s and 30s. And the selectmen would just take care of it, you know, they called them bums at the time, or tramps, would come into East Baldwin. One of the selectmen would grab them and put them up in the house for a night, and then buy them a ticket, send them on to Freiburg, and that was it. But it's much more complicated nowadays. Well, that was the way you did it. You put, and there was a lot of fighting back then as to who pays medical bills for transient people and stuff.
Mhm.
And,
Okay.
well, money.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, I can't say that I like it, but if it's
I like one of
the way it is, then,
necessary evil.
yeah,
It's like buying insurance, you know, it's,
right.
you know,
Well, that's why I was wondering if there was any kind of discrepancy. I mean,
it's required by law that we,
a recipient can't come to the town and then sue us because they did something.
I don't think so. It's required by law that we have a general assistance program,
Right.
and now it's required that they be trained.
Yeah.
This is a recent new law, so,
State requirement, okay, what kind of?
state,
State.
yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll get back in on your motion.
No, it's a good question.
Yeah. So, all in favor? Schedule Winter Road closing review.
Okay, the law says we have until October 1st to hold a public hearing, and then, as a result of the public hearing, decide if we're going to close roads, change road closures and whatnot.
Right.
And as long as I've been on the board, I've advocated that we do it every year. We issue closure orders, and Robin found some that are dated 2015, which is the first year I did it. And, they're good for 10 years. So we don't have to change anything, but if we, do one, and we issue new orders, even if it's for the same thing, they're good for the next 10 years. The worst thing is to get caught out, forget about it and get caught out. Now, in 2015, we were under threat of being taken to court because we didn't have any out of file, and certain roads were being closed for winter maintenance.
Oh.
And, so it was a very quick scramble to get it done before the October 1st date. So, anyway,
Well,
there was,
in the file, there was a law, a state law, I think it said, I was reading it to Chris, that they can last up to 10 years. But I don't think anything that we've had actually has an expiration date on it. Did we see anything
I
there?
didn't find anything that actually stated how many years it was gonna be good for.
Yeah.
And it's been in the
So if
town
it's,
meeting book every year.
so if it's not otherwise stated, does that mean that it expires?
no, I think
in 10
from
years?
the date they're issued, they're good for 10 years.
Okay.
And I'll, begin with, there's an order and, a general statement, and then there's an individual road orders that we put together, so we'll look at it, but I think we're covered, but I know the last time we talked about this was maybe last year, when we
Winston
talked
Road.
about
Yeah.
Winston Road.
Winston Road and also, Carl Burnell Road,
Yeah,
where the sign is,
yeah.
so.
I think that one was 2 years ago, but yeah. I think it was just before I started. Yeah, I think a few of them still say like to the end or to the end. Well, it's actually not quite to the end anymore, but. Cause now
Anyway,
someone
I'll,
built a house on the other end of it, so now you gotta go, 100, 200 feet in.
Right, yeah.
I'll put together a, suggested date that we hold a public hearing,
Okay.
and then once that's done, we can put the orders together and sign them.
Yep. All right. Steve, update on the WNTW-TV, how's that going?
Done.
Done, good.
So I remember I spoke with Robin, I think 2 Tuesdays ago. Last 2 Tuesdays, the fire department has been doing some pretty extensive training. So they took up our time to come and address you guys and talk about it. But, no, really good news. We got our final invoice from Hartford and we're $2,000 under budget. So that, I was able to make good on my word that I wasn't sure if I was able to make good on. So that makes me look good. But anyway, he's actually offering, since it's ARPA funds, if you guys are interested, to give us a $2,000 credit, because it does present some issues. Now that the WOTW project is done, just so you have an idea, Bruce started this project a while ago. Up on that big tower, the WMTW tower that's off Douglas Hill Road, our radio repeater and all of our equipment for Public Works and for fire department was 500 feet in the air. So anytime in the winter, if there was a problem, there was no fixing it. So they just basically ran coax cable all the way to the top, brought the cabinet down so that anybody can service it at any time, just to keep the job really simple.
Everything in the building, so it's.
Stays warm, easy to access, even in the middle of February if something goes wrong. But that also kind of brought something up that seems kind of obvious that we didn't foresee. Well, now that we can see our equipment all the time, it's easier to tell what's wrong with it.
Yeah, right.
And our radio repeater has about a year of life left on it, according to Jeff Hartford. Just so I have it on your radar, it's about an $8,000, $8,500 project. I've asked Jeff for a quote on the work, and there's some contingencies that kind of go along with it because Cumberland County Dispatch is actually in the exact same transition. Their radio repeater that distributes communications to all of Cumberland County also has about a year left of lifespan on it.
It should be, yeah.
So we need to kind of match or at least be in compatibility with whatever they put in.
Right.
And actually there's some discussion of some federal grants that are supporting the towns that have to update along with it, of supplying us new radios that are more compatible with this repeater. We would have to put in money for our own repeater equipment, but they would actually be able to update some of our radios won't even be compatible with this new stuff because it's
Really?
half digital, half analog, and obviously everything in town is very analog. So it's good that we're under budget, and it's good that Hartford will be willing to offer us, I think, $2,000 in credit, so that we can use our ARPA funds, but also still maintain some sort of, flexibility in how we do our radio repeater project that will eventually be at our doorstep.
Credit. It's our money, we just don't pay them.
Well, that's true, but don't you lose that in December?
No,
Okay, good, I thought we did.
no,
That was the first
I
one.
think we
Wonderful.
have to,
it's
I
just
think,
not spent.
right, all money has to be sent, is it by 2026?
Oh,
Is that
beautiful.
the deadline?
Last time we spoke, it was December, so
It has
I'm
to
very happy to hear
be
that.
appropriated by
Right.
this next year, but then I think we've got 2026 is when it has to be completely expended.
Wonderful, so no need for credits at all. Perfect. Anyway, Hartford's obviously willing to work with us. It's good to continue to work with him because he's pretty much the only service person in all of Cumberland County besides RCM, and every time I've asked RCM for a quote, it comes in at almost double what Hartford charges us. So, it's good that we have a local person. So that's all settled. Radio repeater project is gonna be in our future. As of right now, the reason it only has a year left on it is because there's no parts available for a machine that's 15 years old, it may even be 20 years old, and it slowly drifts off in frequency. So actually, we're gonna start to hear more and more interference from places like Lewiston and places like Waterford, not Waterboro, Waterford. Yep, are on the same frequencies as us. There's only so many radio frequencies left. And since we all share numbers, as equipment gets stronger, it goes further distance, and we're gonna start hearing that.
Yeah.
Until we have very good filters, which comes with any radio repeater. So, that's pretty much it, but it is complete, and we're good, we're all set.
Good.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, happy it's done.
No, Bruce worked on that a long time.
He sure did, and there was still a lot of work to be done on it once things changed over, so I'm happy that I was able to, that we were both able to see it through. I think, to be honest with you, it's one of the best things he could have done for this town and for the fire department and public works, because, I mean, let's face it, if you have a problem with radio communications in an emergency in the middle of winter, what are you gonna do? So, it was an extremely good idea. That's all.
All right. Good. And continue on, WNTW TV, Channel 8 Scholarship, advertising.
So last year, I think we were a little late getting in the ad in the paper, but, the policy says it should be advertised in the shop guide by September 1st,
Okay.
so.
Use the same advertising as we did last year.
There were some questions about what the advertisement will say. I know we talked about that a little bit. We should look at that, I guess, and see.
Revising it a little bit in terms of,
Eligibility,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
whether we should be funding, the first 4 years
postgraduate education.
postgraduate, support. There was another question in there as well, but.
I think it was, in terms of the first semester, 'cause we had high school applicants. They were bringing in their, grades from high school, and we awarded scholarships, but they hadn't completed a first semester of college yet. So that just needed to be clear, I think, with,
I think that we waited until they actually turned in their grades, didn't
we still have 2 checks that we have not,
we? Yeah.
because of the confusion, yeah, we just needed, because they were high school students. So I think with the application process, I was new to it, so I found this, the guidelines here, the policy, but I think, we need to be a little clearer, or at least when they apply, let them know that they have to at least have
We
completed.
can contact those people again? No response?
No.
I guess they didn't qualify. That's unfortunate, so,
There's 1 or 2, I think.
yeah. I think we should consider that the money's available to do this.
So would the unclaimed money go to the new,
I would say.
Well, it's not that it's unclaimed, I guess.
as of yet, yeah?
Yeah. I guess we can,
You can try one more time to
Yeah.
reach out to them, but,
so that, okay,
they
so.
should be in college by now, right?
Well, they wouldn't have completed their first semester if they graduated last fall, right? If they graduated in June.
Right,
Unless they took time off for whatever reason, not having enough funds
So,
or being ready for school.
so if they were in high school, so they had to complete their senior year of high school, so that means that they haven't really even started college yet.
You wouldn't have started yet.
Right.
So they will be starting college this fall.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but I know the school system, they wouldn't award the scholarship until the end of the first semester of college. You had to turn the grades in.
Right.
They didn't give it to you ahead of time.
No, that's always
Right.
tough for the coach.
Yeah.
That's what we do here, but,
Yeah.
all right, I guess we can review it and see.
Yeah.
All right, reminder, is Ben morning? No?
Thursday, yep.
Okay. What's going on?
We may be trying to be too accommodating to people.
Really?
And, yeah, well, they just, you know, they're, how do I say, they kind of dragging along like, well, we aren't coming in this Thursday, we'll come in the next one. And, well, we think you're not doing the right thing, but on the other hand, we don't want to come in and tell you. You know, it's just, really strange. There's a lot of kind of fog out there, I'll call it.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to be accommodating and allow them on the agenda. Maybe I'm being too nice. I'm thinking of having a policy of we haven't seen you in 2 meetings, you're done. We don't care if you paid us $150, it's forfeit, you're done.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, I've always been willing to say, like, the first visit is free. You know, come in and talk to us.
Yeah, you could at least come and talk to you and.
You know, join the club. Let's talk together.
Right.
But how many times do you do that? So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. And
I think you may come into a situation, you may have all of them come in at once, and, you know, then you're busy.
yeah. Well, busy's good.
Well, yeah, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I having watched a number of the meetings that you've, chaired, I think you do a good job of reaching out to the public and, giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
People will take advantage of it,
Yeah.
but I think it's a lot of what we do here is.
Yeah. We're here for the citizens of Baldwin.
Right.
Try to work with people. All right, Anna, you got anything?
No, I don't,
You all
thank you.
set?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Kathy?
The Baldwin Community Auxiliary did decently. We made around $2,000, sold about 2/3 of the stuff. There's still things that didn't make it out onto
Yeah.
the parking area. I think we had just barely enough energy people to do this. I mean, we really could use another 4 bodies, you know, in rotation throughout the whole
Able
time.
bodies.
Well, okay, but I'm thinking minimum.
Right.
Last year, we did have volunteers that came in and helped out, and I would say the rain did not help.
No.
Yet again. Graciously, they have left the tent so that we can use it for the book sale on Saturday. The small tent will be for the auxiliary, for the bake table and for the lunch. And then the bigger one has tables in there that we can stack the books on, so we don't have to set up a tent. Very nice.
Yeah.
So we're thinking, 8 o'clock at the latest to get started, open at 9, work till 3. Load it up, and we're looking for homes for books that are left over.
Mhm.
What else do I need to tell you? Oh, yes, of the auxiliary, 2 trailers may have gone to like the Lions Club or something else. So that there'll be that stuff gone, and new stuff will be available next year.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff is seen 2 trips back and forth. And
Right, yep.
Nobody just wants to dump it.
Well, it's on get new stuff in there, you know?
There's
People,
some pretty neat stuff
there was
there.
some
Yeah.
neat stuff there.
There's a couple things
There are
I'm
children's
interested in.
toys
Yeah.
and skis still on the line.
Yeah.
Anybody that needs any,
A lot of things
anything.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
My
People
hospital
making
system is-
Adirondack chairs or whatever, yeah, have at it.
Yeah. I mean, those skis are handy for people making sleds for
Yeah.
ice
Yeah.
fishing.
Yeah.
You can do that, you know.
Yep,
I made one a couple of years ago, I got it sold for $20 down there. Yeah.
yeah, that sounds good.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a decent rope on it. Anything else?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Joe?
Yeah, I don't know how to put this, are you guys doing anything to fulfill the grant for the walking path? Cause we're kinda running out of time.
Right. We need to get it like an engineer or a designer type of thing?
Kathy talked to me about, there's a group of people.
There are people that are with, Portland Parks and Recs, and there's a guy up to, Bridgeton, I saw him at Narragansett Park. He's the Land Echo Trust person who would give advice but not do the work. So we don't have any worker bees.
So I might suggest you got $8,000 out there.
Maybe we can hire
And
someone.
and RFP, what can you do for $8,000 for walking paths?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and leave it up to them to design, and, you know, you guys shouldn't have to do any work, figure out what the specs are. Let them figure out the specs,
Yeah.
you know, and you've got as a parameter how much money you have to spend.
That might help.
And we figure it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend $8,000 just getting a few trees cut off the lawn over there at the Captain John Flint house, but.
I think you need to call a new tree guy.
Huh?
I think you need to call a new tree guy then.
Yeah, me too.
Just a concern of mine.
Yeah,
That's all.
I was thinking about that the other day, this time was running out and we need to do something.
Dale, do you know about the
I was
original?
just gonna ask about walking past what's all.
Right behind.
Just,
Out in the.
the idea being to put a perimeter path around the town-owned property here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, start there, see what happens, and then if that's successful, maybe you spend some money doing some you know,
So
bad.
people would park here and
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah, exactly, cause they can't walk on the street, there's just no way.
yeah,
So to have something like that, and we can put in little, you know, scientific nature thing, ID invasive plants, or what this tree is, whatever, you know, just have little benches, make it convenient.
That sounds cool.
I think your dad might have been involved in the trail originally, when it was first cut, but, I don't know.
We used to go cross-country skiing there, the kids in Collingwood, and
Mm,
I always used to take the kids out there.
I
yeah.
don't know that the town owned the whole thing
Probably
as
not,
much as the town does now.
yeah, probably not back then, yeah,
So
but we were
the
allowed to
idea
do
of,
it.
you know, go all the way around.
Yeah, we were allowed to go out there, and we were also allowed to go up into the neighbor's field, they used to let us go up there and ski down there.
That's right too, yeah.
That was really fun.
So the downside here is that if nothing's done by the time, the anniversary of the grant, the money has to be turned back in.
oh, yeah, and so we lose it. Yeah.
Is there a certain grant that you've been eyeballing?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
Mark,
yeah.
but-
It's already been granted.
No,
Got it.
we have the money, we just gotta
Spend
get
it.
moving on doing something with it.
Okay.
So we, like Joe said, we got $8,000 to work with.
You need somebody to,
What's the organization that?
Well, it's the Maine Community Foundation, it's the Pierce Family Fund.
Well, no, that will design it, that.
Oh,
Well, you put out an RFP and tell them they have to design it.
somebody
You know,
comes up
as
and
part
says,
of
yeah,
the-
that's what I do.
As part of the RFP, I mean, these guys who wanna do the disc golf course have all the machinery.
That's
And
true too,
that's what they do,
right.
and, so you take a copy of your RFP and stick it in an envelope and send it to them. You know, and who knows, Steve Estes might surprise you and say, sure, I'll do it. You know, I mean, there are other people with equipment in town.
mm,
And he's applying to us as well.
No, I thought there was, people that specialized in designing.
Well,
There are, we just have to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
I-
that's
This would be a
I just
way to
wanna
call
know
them out.
If we had a number or, phone
I'm
number.
not into the specialization, I'm into getting it done.
What's the cutoff date?
Well, whatever the date was, it was granted, so that'd be around March 18.
Still got a year?
Well, that makes it a year, and, you know, you're not gonna do much work January, February,
Right,
March.
yeah.
But if the trails were done in the fall, you could get people out there,
Yeah.
January, February, March.
Yes, true.
Socially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Gotta make it go past the hot hornbeam trees up here on the edge of the field.
I know, right,
There's
yeah.
some neat trees.
They
They are neat trees, they
Yeah.
are, I love them.
Yeah.
And kids need to know about what.
Ironwood,
Yeah,
they're known as ironwood,
Yes,
the Native
they
Americans
are.
call them that.
yeah.
They were so strong.
All right.
Thank you.
Chad, you got anything? Ben did order some more signs.
Did he?
We haven't seen them come in yet. Yeah. Things quiet down there, maybe?
Yeah,
Say yes, please.
Boy.
No, it just seems like it's been chaotic down there this year.
Yeah, it has.
Chris?
Fixing roads, watching them rain, watching it rain.
Yeah.
The, waiting on culverts to go do Brown Road, the 15-inch culvert we put out and took out, put a 24-inch one, still not big enough. Still won't flow water like it, but, I mean, it's full capacity, just too much water coming off the mountain there. So we're gonna look at that, and I've talked to Scott Estes, I'm hoping to meet with him about doing like a spillway or something like that for his duck pond that keeps overflowing into the road.
Yeah, that's one of the neighbors complaining, right?
Yeah,
I guess he's pretty upset.
yeah,
I guess he was looking for me the other day.
Oh, yeah.
You were there, right?
yeah, he left when I showed up.
Going, I don't know about Aaron.
I've been nice to know, he's upset that they've gone up to dig up the culverts and that they're washing out and that they're overflowing into his yard. Well, so I'm up 3/4 of the other culverts and I can't replace them if I don't have the pipe to replace them.
Right.
So I ordered them July 18th, I think, or something like that, and supposedly they're coming tomorrow morning. That's the phone call I got today, so we'll see if they show up.
So you're gonna get right on that one?
I'm hoping to, as soon as we can get up there and get them done, and
I'm sure this today doesn't make anything any better.
I know Anderson Road took a little bit of wash, not horrible. There's one little spot that needs to be filled in and a little bit of tune-up. One spot on Brown Road started to wash, but yesterday we went out, and last week we were up there as well, and I did a bunch of ditch work on both sides of the road, so if it did overflow, it didn't overflow into the roadway, and that seemed to do quite a bit of help.
Yeah.
And digging a larger reservoir for the big 2-foot culvert we put in, which isn't big enough, that seemed to allow the water to build up more and let it settle back down before it actually overflowed, so that seemed to help out some too as well.
Yeah.
As far as not overflowing and washing down the road.
Yeah.
The pond still overflows, and still washed down the road a little bit, but it, for the most part, it stayed into the ditch line. I've got a tree kind of in the way, in the ditch line. It's a pretty good sized oak. But I think if we could take and talk to Scott, see about getting a spillway built for when it does overflow the pond, it'll wash into the woods versus down the ditch line into the road.
Oh, yeah.
And then I've got one other spot down further on the flats that I've got to look at addressing for an issue, but all in all, nothing really washed out there. Bowie Road held up good last I looked at it this afternoon, so I've got high hopes for that. I've got to replace the culvert there still, again, waiting for the pipe to show up. So that should help that from washing out in the future as well. Yeah. So all in all, it's not a bad report. I don't know if I've been here since the 09 broke down, got towed in and came back. So the 09 International needs a whole rear end. Basically what's happening is the spring packs, the housing itself is rotting away, and the spring packs are actually settling into the rear end, I guess, according to McFarland Spring Company. So they did what they could to patch it and build it up a little bit, but basically it's off tilted a little bit, so it'll rub a little hard if we load it too heavy or anything like that. So it's gonna need a rear end before the snow falls. We haven't been running it just because we don't wanna blow another tire. So that's, the quote I got from Allegiance was $12,000 to fix it. I've been calling around trying to get some other quotes to fix it or do it ourselves. The rear end alone's $4,000, I think. So, it's not something I really want to tackle in our shop, nor do we really have the tools to tackle in our shop.
That's a big job, eh?
It is, yeah.
And that's the used rear.
Yeah,
It's a safety job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
And it's used, so.
yeah, so it's kind of trying to find a little better deal somewhere, but it's gonna be an expensive fix to fix it, so. And gotta have the truck, so it's gonna be one of those deals that kind of in a bind.
And you are keeping track of what's costing to keep these trucks.
Yeah, it gets logged on the maintenance record.
Yeah.
Every time we put money into it, we write down what we do and how much it, if I know how much it costs, I write down how much it costs.
What if they bought a brand new one?
It's getting there.
Getting there.
It's getting there. I think that's about it for me.
Stevie? Steve, that it?
Just that the fire department's been really digging into training for the last 2 months. which really helps our ISO issue, because like I was saying the last time we met about ISO, it's pretty much the only thing that's gonna help us maintain our status, since we're not gonna get our dry hydrant and drafting and all of our hydrants straightened out before October 1st. So it looks like we've already hit our goal of 24 hours, that the ISO requires, so we'll be able to maintain our score. I don't have to report it until October 1st, so it looks like we'll actually be able to exceed it, but I gotta give the department a lot of credit, they're showing up, so. We were able to go to a aerial ladder training course, that was hosted by Gorham. I think over 130 firefighters were present there from all of Cumberland County. It was extremely educational and informative on definitely some big city firefighting, which we don't really see around here, but also at the same time, when we have all these commercial plans that are coming up, it's gonna be stuff that we need to know, especially as officers, how to deal with different fire trucks that we don't have here in our town. And how to use them when we have problems that we can't take care of with the equipment we have here in our town. So, it's been really great. I'm just proud of these guys.
Good, good. So I'm sure that the goal is to make the score better.
Yeah.
I mean, maintain it now and then try to.
Right, if nothing was done, meaning if we weren't able to get our hydrants in order, which we're not able to before October, which is not gonna happen, we would lose, and we would drop down, and that means we're 1 point away from losing our status completely.
Yeah.
So right now at an 8, we'd be dropping down to a 9, 10 means you lose your status.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to maintain us at an 8 with the current, training record that we have, as long as we have 24 hours of interior and structural firefighting per firefighter. We're pretty much there.
Yeah.
And if we were able to get our hydrants in order, we'll move us up to a 7, or what they call like an 8A. And that's gonna only positively affect homeowners insurance rates in the town, and it'll also keep them off of our backs for another 8 years, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So right now, the 8-4 could be maintained for how long?
That's a good question. So October 1st, so I've basically, in order to get information on the ISO and how its scoring is maintained, you have to talk to one of their representatives. Our representative's name is Cindy, she's down in New Jersey. They, are like these experts and have an insane amount of information. And basically what she said was, our deadline was August 1st, actually. And I had gotten an extension to that. It was originally June 1st. So I got them to extend it due to the change of command that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And then as July rolled around, I realized that we had no hope in sight. So I called and I said, the only thing that I can really make an effect on is work on training, being that that's 50%, or really it's 40-something% of your ISO score. And that's the only thing that I knew that I can make a difference in. So I implemented this online training program, essentially, that helps organize and report our trainings, whether we do it online or do it externally, out here in the back, or go out to Gorham for the aerial ladder training. And it creates automatic reports that are organized the way that the ISO likes to see them. And she said that the only way she'd be able to do it is she was to get what they call a preliminary, preliminary training evaluation, meaning showing that we had more training hours than we did previously. And that gave me the extension to October 1st. So I was able to produce that, and I think, I'm pretty sure at this point we have our 24 hours, so we'll be able to meet the ISO goal to maintain our status, and I wanna say it's for a year. So then after that, we'll have a year to get our hydrants straightened out. It might be longer, you can't quote me on it. Once I get it in to Cindy, and we have all of our training records done, and we're able to maintain, I'll let you guys know how long we'll be able to maintain it for before we have to do anything else. And the goal will be to just make sure we have our 24 a year. I think if I was able to accomplish 24 in a couple of months, we'll be able to handle it as many years.
Right.
Just gotta keep training interesting, that's all.
Right.
We did take care of the Bellows Properties garage. Cortland Alexander has been working over there and to really clean it up over there. Asked the fire department to burn his garage, and we were able to do a controlled burn yesterday. I've never seen a controlled burn go so well in my life. And I've done a few of them actually in Bowmill. And we were able to get a ton of training hours on it, and everybody did a really good job. It was good. We also had great turnout. We had 9 firefighters on the Yep, on a weeknight. It's pretty awesome. All the fire departments doing pretty good. I'm impressed. Proud of these guys.
Good.
Yeah, that's all.
Good. Positive.
Yeah, it should be. I hope so.
Robin?
I sent you an email regarding 8 Wentworth Road.
I haven't read it.
Okay.
Was it today? Yeah,
Yeah, I did speak with Don Kemp about it. A resident came in, stopped by the office, wanting to speak with code enforcement or the health officer. She said that there's a lot of trash that continues to be built up there on that property. It's just building up.
It's a place right after Shefflin's old place,
It is.
Yeah, see, what happened is, one of the, Carla, one of the daughters, of the original Shefflin family, had a daughter that married one of the sons from the Bubar family. And that's where it all comes from over there. They come over with all their kids and all their drugs. And there used to be a camp there a couple of years ago, and I know Hank was working on it, but pretty sure there was, you know, without having any proof, everybody said it was like a meth lab they were running over there. So I'm assuming that's probably what they're doing right now, so I don't know.
If I have it, I can do that.
Well, the other issue is that they brought in a camper, and parked it where they've recently cut logs. I guess they've done some logging over there. So the camper, has, from what this person reported, doesn't seem to have water, sewer, electricity. There's people living in it, like, full-time, and they're, presumed to be bringing in additional
Oh, I will.
to live there.
Yeah.
So,
They will.
it doesn't look like, and she mentioned that there may not even be a back. It looks like there's some tarps or something on the camper. So I explained to her that, you know, we do have, an ordinance in place that limits the amount of time that people can actually reside, in a camper. So Dawn was going to go out and do kind of an investigation and, perhaps write a letter on that bit of it in terms of but I don't know what can be done in terms of the trash. You know, do we bring in Dr. Decay? We don't, does that fall under like a junkyard?
Take a look.
Because we don't have.
Well, there's a fly up there by the night when I came home, but I'm running in late, so I didn't, I know exactly where it is and exactly who the problem is, so.
It is pretty bad.
I don't know what
I
you
can tell you,
I
I'll
go
go
by
fire
it
in for 2
every day,
weeks.
every Monday, when I go to see, help Kathy Frost with her garden, and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
So it's
Well,
right
we've
there
seen
on the left, just after you turn.
Yeah,
up
it's
on the-
bad.
I know it's fine.
Really bad.
Have you seen that complex over there on Pendexter Road? The family,
It's pretty bad.
yeah.
I don't know
mean, they
where
just take
Pendexter Road
trailers
is.
and people live everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where Appendix is.
It's right before the rest area on 25, if you're going into Cedar Falls, Pendexter Road, right before the old rest area, it's not a rest area anymore. Basically right beside the Parsons Field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to go over on the Sevago Road, the Convene Road, whatever you wanna call it. There's a trailer there that, I don't know what's going on.
Always the same thing.
It's Sevago, but nobody seems to do anything about it. It's
That's
just
what I'm wondering,
building up.
what, you know, because I know this family's not gonna abide by anything we say. So where is it, you know, we gotta be prepared for.
Yeah, this is.
It's almost assume that it's gonna go to that next level.
12 beyond 19 Beaven Road and 79 Picture Brook,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so.
Even the one I'm talking about is,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you gotta start with.
Ordinances are not well designed to handle these situations. And when we drafted the LD 2003 revisions, I snuck a few of those in there that I thought would help. But
Yeah.
requiring that you have plumbing and electricity and septic hookups for anything that's over a month or two, and, that you get a building permit, to put them in to begin with, you know, so you can't just sneak it in there and live on it.
Which is what they're doing, and
Yeah.
what they'll continue.
Where is this that the Blue Barn moved into?
It's the road we're talking, I'm assuming it's their family, because they did it a couple of years ago with them, yeah. One of the Shiflett girls, the older girls, had a dog, you remember, Danielle Marsh?
I don't think I have her, but I've had some of those blue bars as a substitute, and let me tell you.
Well, she was in Locust Street, Danielle, you had to remember her.
What was her name again?
Danielle Marsh?
I did not have any Marsh.
Not really, okay. He might have been living in Cornish at the time.
Yeah,
Because they moved over to Cornish, because they were living with their parents, and she married one of the Bubar children. And that's where all,
It is
they kind of
bad.
go over there and
Yeah,
inhabit
it
in
is
the
bad,
ship.
you know, like I said, I go and we help Kathy Frost weed her garden, and we go by there every Monday, and it's like, wow, it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's trash.
It's the first house on the market.
It's right up against the
Your big
road.
farm used to be.
Oh, okay, yep, big white,
It's right against
building.
the road.
Yeah,
right up next to the road.
yeah, right across from, Betty Mason's old place, with a television.
It's not really the house itself, it's the garage.
And then they put the stuff on the side of it,
Yeah, it's, the house itself doesn't look, I mean, it's kind of deteriorating, there's no question. I mean, the porch is starting to sag a little bit and everything, but it's the garage that is just really something else.
Mhm. Yeah, all you can do is give them papers that we legally can give them.
I agree.
I guess, but.
We can spend $1,500 and give them a $1,500 fine,
Yeah.
which they won't pay.
Exactly.
I would probably advise Don to probably, if he goes and visits, to probably have the sheriff.
Yeah.
go with him.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about-
oh, I would, yeah.
We was up there before, we had Ricky and the sheriff and doing a welfare check on them.
Yeah, they ran them out last year, it might have been 2 or 3 years by now, but I remember they had a camper there, and I can't remember the name of all the kids, but one of them was either selling, making drugs, and the cops, you know, that Hank, when he was a patrolman at the time, he was watching it, and they got him out, but obviously, it's probably been long enough where they figured they could get him back, yeah. Yeah, it's quite a family to deal with.
It's scary.
Anything else,
The
Robin?
kids are scary. No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I substituted for a third grader,
Yeah.
and I'm telling
Oh,
you,
they
he
did
was
know.
pretty scary. He took a chair and threw it,
Yeah, there's no.
and I didn't do anything. I didn't do a thing.
I believe it.
Robbie, you got anything?
Do we get anything on the roof?
I did, I was gonna mention that, yeah. So, I called the guy, I looked at some reviews, and the only reviews I found were less than favorable, but anyways, I called him up, and we were supposed to meet here Friday at 4. Well, come 3 o'clock, I found that comes, so I called him, no answer. Text him, you know, hey, look, you know, I can't make it today, obviously, let's do for tomorrow morning, or sometime next week, and I got back from him. So he ghosted me for some reason. You know, I could read you a couple of the reviews, but
Yeah, I'm just wondering if
I do have, I see somebody at the store, a real old acquaintance of mine, Jeff Audette. He's been doing roofing for decades now. He's willing to come look at it. Haven't set it up with him yet, but if that's okay, I think.
Be fine,
I
yeah.
would come look at it, but I don't see this guy always roofing going anywhere.
You know, I'm interested in it.
No, I mean, yeah, we can, you know, he had my number and I left him 2 messages and, you know,
Yep.
that's all I can do.
Yeah.
a guy from mid-state who sent something right to our office here. Didn't ever come back either. I called and talked to him, but he never came by.
Hmm.
Must be plenty of roofs to repair, huh?
Yeah, it was funny, it was like, so I called him, it was actually Friday morning. It might have been Thursday night. And he said it was a tough call, and he asked what time would be good for me, and I said, well, 4 o'clock, well, that's good, 'cause I got a bunch of estimates to do in the morning anyway. You know what I mean, so that's just tells me, well, we have nothing to do. You know what I mean, 'cause who's doing a bunch of estimates on a Friday that, you know, I don't know, it's just, I listened to that story long enough to know that,
You're saying they're reading between the lines.
yeah, I didn't get a good impression, but, well, we gave him a chance to look at it, he just never got back to me.
Yeah, worth a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, the generator pickup,
can, I did contact, Power, what are they, Power without a, without no, I can't remember the beginning of their name, but I did contact them, they just said, let us know when you wanna come get it, here's the address. So, I just need to straighten up my trailer a little bit for you, so I don't get in trouble doing the town of Fever.
Hooking up some lights.
Yeah, I got lights already, I just, it'd be nice if it dry up a little bit. No, I just don't want to lay in the mud. Lay in the mud now.
Anything, Dana?
Yeah, I got a quick question and then a comment. The guy on Fremont Road, did that paper get sent out to him, or did?
The letter?
Yeah, it did.
Signed it.
Who signed it?
I mailed it certified plus regular mail,
Okay,
because sometimes people will not pick up certified mail, so
Yeah, I
it's
know.
just a
yeah, they just,
kind of.
no, I'm taking that,
I see he's still doing it.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if he got it or not, but.
No, it's like, it would've been poetic justice the other day, 'cause I actually had my wide trailer on, and I'd met a dump truck, and I was squeezing that water.
Yeah.
And it's been poetic justice to puddle somebody that was in the truck, you know what I mean? Because I literally had to go into the water.
Yeah,
And would spray it all over the place,
yeah,
so it's definitely a hazard,
it is. That's why,
you know?
In the boots.
Yeah, I mean, Christ, it's almost up to the next driveway, you know,
Yeah.
it's just running down the road.
yeah,
And, you know, I guess he doesn't understand water table, whether he puts it out here or out there, it's still gonna keep the level of the water the same. It's
Yeah.
not gonna run into his basement.
that's why I don't understand why the road commissioner can't tell him that, stop doing it, cause it's going in the road.
I did, it was water. Oh, you guys did.
Well, we signed it,
Well, that's the way it is, you
we
can
signed
sign
it
it.
too.
Yeah, I took it, that paper right out of the roads manual.
Yeah,
And I made roads
I
manual.
guess.
We do have some better letterhead stuff, though.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, so, you get what you get.
So if he doesn't, we gave him.
If you need a harsh letter,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
There is legal action you can take after he doesn't do it.
Okay, so we just started the process to,
Basically,
yeah.
the kind gesture of, hey, this is what,
Please
send it
don't
to
go
the
back,
letter, you know, we will be forced to take legal action now,
Okay.
or we have the right to take legal action, I think,
Yeah.
so.
Mhm.
Well, one other thing I should mention is that the Deacon's Fountain, right there on the corner of the house lot, is a black birch tree growing right up and lifting up the foundations of it, and we're gonna have it cut down.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you can see there's, I think, 4 granite segments that are connected by brass rods, and 2 or 3 of them are already
Oh,
tilted up a
yeah.
bit. You can see this root that's kind of snaking around it,
Really?
getting it in its grasp.
Yeah, yeah.
I won't try to remove the stump, but I'll just cut the tree down so I stop it from growing anymore.
Yeah, doing any more damage
Yeah.
to it, yeah. I don't have anything.
I have one more thing.
Okay, oh, sorry.
We were talking cell phone for Dawn,
Yeah,
and Dawn was talking AT&T and whatnot, but, I'm actually working in Brownfield, so for 2 different occasions, I stopped in 3 different locations and made calls, and I have 3 bars on my internet
yeah,
with a straight talk phone.
straight up,
Like from Walmart, cheap phone,
yeah.
cheap plan, so it might be our cheapest way out.
Yeah.
And it was actually pouring rain today, and
Yeah,
I stopped and made them call.
it was fine with
It was fine.
Yeah,
When I took, so, something to, that's it.
okay, I've got nothing. So, I move the selectmen go into executive session pursuant of 1 MRSA, section 405, 6A, to discuss personnel matters.
Second it.